Hello, dear friends. Here we are with another study of the book Courage by several spirit authors through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. What a blessing to be with you each and every week discussing the many topics we are blessed to discuss and know of. Today we have chapter 17 that is titled Opponents in Us. First question: who is the opponent? Do we have opponents? Are we someone's opponent? Good questions, right, friends, for us to discuss. And this chapter or this message is by the Spirit Emmanuel through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. So let's see what Emmanuel has to tell us about opponents. Hold on a second. Gotta check one thing before we continue. Looks fine. Hope you're all there. All right. So here we have. In regard to Jesus' teaching, quote, love our enemies, quote, many people ask with anxiety, what is the best way of applying it? So, who are our enemies? And what do we do about it? Do we have enemies? I mean, ideally, we would not have enemies, right? Even Christ had his enemies. So let's think about who is our opponent today. And he will give us beautiful explanations on what to do. Emmanuel says, perhaps someone may have hurt us and caused us serious damage. Someone else may have left our spirit in distress by ingratitude. How to express love for them according to the principles of the gospel? Question mark. It is important, however, to point out that Jesus asks us to love our opponents, but does not recommend we accept or love what they do. Period. For now. So we're not condoning bad behavior, but we are asked to love the person who is causing us some harm or is ungrateful towards us. So we love the person because remember, we are all children of God. And the Creator loves you and I the same way since creation and continues to love us, protect us, inspire us through the presence of our mentors and guides and all the many resources that we have in our lives. So why should we not? Remember, you have the gene of divinity inside of you. If you have the gene of divinity, God's gene inside of you, and God is love, so we need to love others. Of course, easier said than done. So let's see what Emmanuel has to do. For us to do. He says, if a certain person has acted against us, we will clearly not applaud his or her behavior. However, it's possible to receive them in an atmosphere of fraternity and understanding that this attitude that they had has acquired a heavy load of inner struggles to the detriment of themselves. Moreover, we can perfectly love those who commit errors against us, understanding that due to our fallible condition, their mistakes today may be ours tomorrow. So someone wronged us, and we, of course, not going to say, yeah, come hurt me or go hurt other people. That's not what we're saying. But we are saying that we can receive that person in an atmosphere of fraternity. Remember, we're not perfect. We are being perfected as time goes by and experiences present themselves to us. But today, we may be receiving some injustice. Tomorrow, we may be the perpetrators of that injustice. So we have to think of it. If I were out there making mistakes, denying the love, how would I want to be treated? So I treat others the same way, right? Similarly, let us imagine an ill person and his or her illnesses. Will we stop loving our sick ones just because they are sick? And as we talk about love in those who are sick, would we be teaching love for illnesses? Of course not. We don't stop liking people because they fall ill or have a problem. We mobilize resources so that we can help them as well, right? So, last but not least, Emmanuel says, therefore, loving our opponents means to respect their point of view and to bless them whenever they take a different path from ours. In addition, every time they consciously fall into a spiritual darkness, let us remember the Christ Himself and deliver them to God, begging for their peace and mercy upon them, because in reality they do not know what they are doing. Unquote by Emmanuel. Now, when Emmanuel brings to us the loving our opponents means to respect their point of view and bless them whenever they take a different path from our point of view, it reminds me of the law of justice in the Spirit's book. Because the law of justice dictates that we respect the rights of others. If we think through this, we are in a world of trials and expiations, tests on atonement. It is still the second rung in the ladder of planets, a very much closer to primitive than to divine and celestial, where Christ spirits live. So we have to think about the heterogeneity of spirits who live around us. Some more elevated, some less elevated, some dwelling in ignorance and evil, others a little bit more aware of their reality, right? The immortal reality of all of us. So we want to think about, dear friends, when I go about my day, do I look at people as an opponent? Am I always seeing someone who's coming to get me to do things against me, like we're the center of the universe? Therefore, not worshiping God, right? Who should be at the center? Are we creating opponents through our actions, for the things we do, we say, we impose onto others? And if we are, how we would treat them, how we would like to be treated? And then he's saying, respect the rights of others. So people are doing things in this world that are better for their lives. And then the same way we want to be respected, we respect others. That does not mean, again, we condone behaviors that are hurting of people. We're not condone wars, murders, homicides, trauma of any kind. None of us reincarnated to do evil. We all reincarnated to do good. But we choose certain behaviors that cause harm to others, and we should also create opportunities for those who err to be rehabilitated into society. So, of course, we want to nourish everyone since the time they're born and conceived, so that they grow up full of love, full of potentiality, so they don't have to hurt others. They don't hurt others. And that's where we are on the planet, right? We want to look around, find ourselves useful to others, courageous to assume our identity as spiritists, to follow Christ's examples of loving our enemies. But first, we have to stop the bleeding and stop making enemies and present ourselves in the world in a way that we are helpful, kind, loving, indulgent, so that less of those enemies will be around our way. And of course, we don't want to be anybody's enemies, right? We are here all to progress together on the earth. Dear friends, it's always a joy to be with you every week for the book Courage, our study of this beautiful book. Today we spend time with Emmanuel, and next week, let's see where we are going. We are going to chapter 18. That is titled Always Show Mercy, also by the Spirit Emmanuel. Between now and then, I wish you well. I wish you stay safe, you stay connected to your loved ones and your community, doing the best you can, the most good you can with all of the resources at your disposal. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time with another study. Bye bye.